you yesterday that's drawn loads of your comments. And for anyone who missed it, there's a state lawmaker in Louisiana who floated the idea of paying poor women to have their tubes tied. Well, I had lots of questions for him when he agreed to join us live. John, let's get right down to it. Paying a woman $1,000 to tie her tubes, was this your idea? And who else was involved in this brainstorming session?
Well, in my office, of course, we're trying to deal with the problem in Louisiana in particular, but with the problem of generational welfare, where that's becoming a big problem. And you saw that in the evacuations of the storms, where these people were totally reliant on the government to handle their issues of evacuating from an imminent storm. And that's just a snapshot of what the problem is with these people being totally reliant on government to handle every issue.
You're also getting written about from all over the country, and I know you've been getting a number of calls. We've even gotten a number of calls. This quote coming from the Times-Picayune, your local paper, from September 25th, an editorial saying that you are the Jessica Simpson of the Louisiana legislature, known for boneheaded ideas. There's nothing funny about resurrecting heinous ideas, the same ideas that led to forced sterilization of the poor and mentally ill, disabled in this country. It's also an idea that Nazi Germany carried to a horrible extreme. What do you think about the criticism that you're getting?
Well, you know, whenever somebody has the brass to stand up and say, hey, look, this is a problem, generational welfare is a problem, the people on the other side politically, they realize that that's their voting base. And they don't want anybody messing with or pointing or shining the light of day on the problem of these people don't want to solve the problem on the other political side because this is their voting base. So those are the people that you're getting the criticism from of bonehead ideas. If dealing with generational welfare is a bonehead idea, then I guess I'm boneheaded. I don't think this would have ever made it to drafting in legislation. But of course, you know, the media wants to have ratings, and this is what they want to talk about.
I mean,
instead of talking about the issue, which is how do we get fewer people from welfare,
but we are talking about the
from
issue.
welfare
We're talking about poverty.
Into paying taxes and being productive members of society, and it's better for them, it's better for everybody involved. So that's the point.
But isn't that education, isn't that creating jobs, isn't that really getting into your community and trying to help the people versus saying, tie your tubes, we'll pay you $1,000.
Well,
why not take these people and say, hey, we got jobs here, we got better education here, let's put money in. Hey, I lived in New Orleans and worked in New Orleans, and it is a shame the condition that so many of these schools are in, and how much money is divided in this city. I mean, you have the power to really make change there. Instead of paying people to tie their tubes, you could put that money into incredible educational opportunities.
All those things are on the table, and we're talking about all these opportunities. And once again, in Louisiana, we had a tremendous influx of illegal aliens, so that's you know, bringing down the economy even more. That's another issue that some of my opponents on the other side of the aisle don't want to bring up, and they don't want to talk about.
By the way, LaBruzzo also supports paying men for vasectomies as well. Now, a lot of you got worked up about this segment, and you emailed us. We got a lot of emails like this one from Lisbeth. The legislator from Louisiana represents an attitude that has cost our country millions of dollars through the failure to fund education, job training, and other programs to help move people out of poverty. I would suggest that we consider paying the legislature $1,000 to have a vasectomy. Christopher emailed this. Is he for real with his "these people" statement? His thoughts on generational welfare are just another way of singling out one group of people and making them a target for a racist platform. And though the majority of you who wrote us were outraged by the Louisiana representative's idea, a couple of your emails were positive. Jenny wrote this: I think it's a great idea. I live in a town where 70% of the people are on welfare. We have teens in high school that are getting pregnant on purpose to give the child to their mother to be able to obtain more money from the government. Thanks to all of you for writing us. 3 p.m.